What's going on YouTube? ACT113 here, coming at you with a dumb tutorial. And in this dumb tutorial, we're going to be getting an OS copy of Windows 3.1 to run on the Internet Archive, like so. DosBox is loading, and let's see what we got. And anyway, this right here is essentially what the gist of this will be. Now, for the sake of this video, we'll be using this guy's upload for the sake of the example, as they seem to have tried to attempt it, but they're clearly missing some identifiers. So I have a copy of it right here, and we're going to upload it. Just let me go through the basic upload process, just make sure you have an account at least. And you can basically name this like whatever you'd like. I'm calling this Eastern Arcs as it also contains a copy of Noah's Ark, the previously lost Japanese game, since I forgot to copy paste this link. You can basically fill all this, but I'm just going to fill the necessary tags. Let's give it one tag, that's about it. And since I don't plan to keep this upload, I'm going to make this a temporary upload. Now, this next part is going to be important, as for now, just simply include emulator and DosBox in these boxes here, and then just wait for it to upload. We will see you back once this is finished uploading. I should also point out that if you wish to know how to install Windows 3.1 in DosBox, there are already dozens of tutorials out there for that, and this video is primarily focused on getting a pre-made version of Windows 3.1 playable on the Wayback machine. Just forgot to throw that disclaimer in here. Did I forget to mention this might take a while? I'd argue we are roughly halfway there. Yes, we are roughly halfway there. Only 100 megabytes left. Now that I think about it, I should have done a 300 megabytes reference. Too late, I guess. The words of Hide and Sauce Joel. It's working! It's working! So close. Actually, maybe I'm gonna keep this loaded. Just another 3 more megabytes. 2, 1. Zero. Alright, now we just gotta wait for it to give the finalized loading logo an option to skip straight to the page instead of waiting for the 10 seconds to load. Finish uploading. Please be patient. You'll usually get this pop-up asking you to click now or wait for the timer to go down. You can basically just click go to your page right now and it'll load. Now, once this item is currently being modified and updated by the task is done, only then do we have one more thing to do in relation to this area here. So, see you back once this part here is gone. One thing I will need to say is sometimes the drive might take a bit to load, and the reason we haven't inputted every command aside from these two here is because, from my experience, Internet Archive will typically only do whatever is inputted first, and the other 3 that are necessary will kind of be defaulted out. So, from my experience, you gotta wait for this to finish before inputting the last of the commands we need to get this to properly run on archive.org. Alright, now that the drive is finally done, we can finally go to the final step. That is inputting the last of the commands needed for this to properly run. Because if we have only just one command here, well, let's showcase an example. If it it will not even load. If you do not have any other proper commands, it will not load.
So what we gotta do next is we gotta go to the edit, change information, and go all the way down here to add 3 additional fields because we already got emulator and DosBox here. Now the next thing we need to do is have emulator start. It doesn't necessarily matter which order you have it in, these are just the commands that you need for this to properly run. And right next to start, we will need win.com. We'll need DosBox drive D. We will need emularity win31 / win31. Then we have emulator ext. And then zip. Then we simply hit submit. Go to here. And then we just wait for this modifier update to the modify XML finish. And as you can see, everything is now here. And it might take a bit given that this one is relatively like 600 megabytes in size. But for a regular copy of Windows 3.1, it's probably going to be roughly under 100 megabytes. So it wouldn't necessarily take this long. But for this case, it's going to take a while. One refresh. Oh, and it's already done. Now, once we start it, it's going to attempt to load everything. Now, since it is a really huge file size, it's going to take a bit. So, BRB. Now we're roughly about to hit
300 megabytes.
I'm sorry, I had to get the Neil C. Siriga ref out of the way. It seems like it's going to hit 90% before I even got to hit record. So, I figured I would come to here. As I figured by this point, we will be able to see the final product unfold. So there we go. We have it loading. Now it's going to auto start with Eastern Mind since this copy here, as mentioned prior, already came pre-installed with Eastern Mind, The Lost Souls of Tong Now. And Noah's Ark unfortunately will not run properly because it's not a Japanese version of Windows 3.1 nor even a Japanese Windows OS in general. And from here we can basically do things like launch this. And there is Eastern Mind, The Lost Souls of Tong Now. Now you don't necessarily need to do this to run an OS, but if it's a specific game that is not DOS compatible, this is probably like the only other option. Though you don't necessarily need to do the aforementioned commands below, but I figured for the sake of this video I wanted to showcase how to run an OS, not just a game itself. As we'll run just the OS without a game required. And that's about it for this video. I'll see you next time. One final thing to note is that depending on what you use this for, it's gonna be relatively slow, as you gotta keep your Wi-Fi in mind. So let's close that. And I think we can just go to one of these here. You can just simply scroll through all these. Main. And right here we can basically go through each of the drives here. So we basically just got straight up Fun OS here. Is this startup? Nope, nothing in the startup. And basically how you would shut this down is the same way you would shut down anything. Exit Windows, ask exit, and simply type exit command, or you can hit the escape key and close the tab. But there's also another way to exit this. Anyway, that's about it. AC2113, I'll see you next time.